Hi guys, Dogger here with a new video, and this video I'm going to talk about my first day of arenas on Miss Pandaria Classic, and basically it has been everything I ever wanted about a classic version which is as loved as Miss Pandaria. I think they have nailed the resilience. Right now I don't feel like they need to lower or up it, at least for twos, because I only played twos. Threes I will do, but for now I feel like I want to be pushing twos. I've been playing on my warlock in double DPS, and I've been playing on my balance druid and resto druid, I would say, but like currently I'm leaning more towards resto druid because I had to make a choice. I had to say, look, I have to gear up for one or the other, so I did buy my pieces, which is the shoulder and then chest. I'll be for sure making a guide very soon about like Resto Druid, and I'll be talking about examples in twos as well. But right now, I'm enjoying a lot of it. So basically, I did play 29 games today in twos with like different partners as a Balance Druid and Resto Druid. I won 20, played 29. Most of my games were played Balance Druid when I lost, and I did play 15 games, I think, as a Resto Druid and won 14 of them, which with one partner I did like 10 out of 10, and basically didn't like swap with him until like I had to go to cook some meal. So I think it's insanely fun. I think twos, I have seen multitude of comps. Some comps have like a bit more of a harder like game, I would say, for Restorated Warrior. So I played with a warrior whenever I was like healing, and also played with a survival hunter. It was okay. Like I felt like okay, the level is not super high at the beginning because obviously everyone is queuing up, everyone is like trying to get conquest. So there are like very like different like MMR skill level, and just in general you will not see rank ones all the time, but you also will not see noobs all the time, obviously. So there is like a in between, and I liked that double DPS comps actually are able to win games even from healers. Like I played as a warlock, so I did like 10 games on my warlock, and I've won 8 out of 10, and I played double DPS with a Windwalker once. I mean, like 5 games with a Windwalker, and then I did 5 games with a Shadow Priest, and it was insanely fun. Like I felt like I had a lot of impact. I could heal myself. I could like do some great damage and kite and outplay. I feel like something like that is just not possible in retail. So I don't know if you have played retail, because again on this channel is pretty much about classic. I might post this one also on the primary channel. On the primary channel, which is not really primary these days anyways. Like if you play retail, like there is no way for you to make it work like a double DPS comp. Like it's not even reliable at all. It is like you are going to like struck a plateau very fast. Like at one point, once you have like done your 10 games of placement and you don't face other double DPS comps, for example, it becomes insanely hard once you have a healer versus you, because healers are very OP. And some may say that in Miss Pandaria Classic, healers are also OP, which I will say that it is not truly the case. Healers can actually die. You don't have infinite defensives. Obviously, I'm playing Druid, which is one of the better healers, like just across PvP. You have multitude of defensives, which are like Iron Bark, Barkskin. You have Might of Ursock. Like all those things are like really big defensives, obviously. And you have your Symbiosis, which sometimes gives you another defensive. For example, if you're playing with a hunter, it is like deterrence. If you're playing with a warrior, you get like a straight up intimidation fear, like fear from warriors, which is super strong because it doesn't DR with like your cyclone for some reason, but it is what it is. It's really good. Like you are able to die. Like I have died like a couple times versus like double DPS comps because they have like CC that could just stop me from like sustaining. My HOTS alone do a lot of healing, which is like impossible whenever you're thinking about like retail. Your HOTS like are not good on their own. Like a rejuve is not good enough. You need to have like a full row of HOTS to actually have great healing because their mastery is a multiplicative stat. So the more HOTS you have, the more mastery usage you have, because it's like 14%, for example, per HOT. You get per HOT 14% more healing. So basically, it's encouraging everyone to like spam HOTS, and they cannot really balance it around, because if they buff Rejuve, then it becomes very too strong. So itself, Rejuve is nothing, and you have to have like multitude of HOTS to be good at your doing the Rejuve on retail. But in Miss Pandaria, that's not the case, and that's really something I really like. I think the design is insane. I've seen literally every single class during my arena run today on my druid, on my warlock. I didn't see every single spec, obviously. Like again, an assassination rogue, I haven't seen one in arena. I haven't seen a arcane mage. I did see a fire mage. I of course did see a frost mage. I've seen a red. I've seen even a fury warrior. I even seen, but he didn't have a lot of success. But he tried, so that's respectful. And if I had a warrior, I would probably try it out a bit, just to see for myself if it's good or not. Like it's mostly worse than arms, obviously, but it is still like something I would test myself. I really like the nerf that they did to resilience, especially for twos. Your resilience becomes like 63% baseline, and you get 3% out of your like 2 set from your trinket. So you would have 66%. Now, because they have nerfed 2% of the resilience, it becomes like that you get 6% more damage onto you. And obviously you have PvP power, which is going to be better and better and better the more gear you have. For example, my warlock, I have 30%. On my druid, I still am not like fully honor geared. Like for example, my neck has no PvP power. My rings as well don't have PvP power. So like 6% more healing is big. So the more PvP power I have, the better it will become. But also for the DPSers, like you get extra healing as well, because my warlock is able to ember tap to survive, especially in double DPS. When I am the focus, I can do my dark regeneration, my health stone, and then like ember taps and like being full. And while I'm kiting, it heals me. So it's really interesting how he plays, and that's something I really like about Miss Pandaria. So I'm not gonna lie, like yesterday there were no arenas. I was doing BGs and I felt like, oh my god, it's not maybe not that as good as I would think, obviously, because nobody really died. The resilience was not nerfed yet. I had no gear on my druid. Again, like that feeling I had is because I had no gear on my balance druid. So I still liked a lot of the gear. I was not optimized well, and I felt like I couldn't kill anyone in the BG. While my warlock, it went fine. So I guess it was like more of a character issue and not really a game issue. But at that point, I was feeling like, oh, maybe I should just play warlock and call it a day. Like just play warlock, destruction warlock, and that's it. And then play something else if I'm tired of playing warlock. But today, like I confirmed that I really like the game itself, not really like purely the classes, but the classes itself are still fantastic. I think Balance Druid is not boring. It's really fun to play. You can all feel very well. You can kind of survive also very well if you're able to do like a lot of the kiting as a double DPS. You do have some bursts, like I did crit for 70k on a Starfire, which is like big. Like it's still like easily a bit less than 1/4 of someone's HP. So it's still like major enough to think like, okay, you have damage. And I think that's because of the resilience nerf, and also the availability of like arenas. I think BGs is very fun, but at the end of the day, if you don't have a pre-made, you kind of get like stuck versus a pre-made, and that really feels very like unsatisfied. Like I think a lot of people that are trying to play Miss Panaya and get tired of it is because of the honor grind being very long, and that's true. I think the harder grind to do is the honor grind, and I feel like the conquest grind is the easiest to do. Like I already bought 2 pieces, which are like huge upgrades. I have now a cap. I can just chill. I can do dungeons if I want to. I can just level the alt if I want to. I could grind some honor maybe to improve a bit of my gear, but at the end, like I could easily do a few dungeons and it would be the same, because you can convert justice to honor and then you can buy your rings, for example, and that's already a very big step forward. Like contender gear versus like the honor gear, it's only like 8 level difference. 8 eye level difference, excuse me. While conquest gear is like a whopping like 30 eye level, like 33 eye level difference between the chest, for example, and the legs that I have, which is like a lot of stamina. Like you can see, my stamina on my chest is 1,626, while on my legs is 1,000. Let's say 1,200 to round it up. Like it is a massive difference, and also PvP power wise, like it may seem not a lot, but it's like 100 more PvP power. And imagine if you have every single piece of conquest that has 100 more PvP power, it is going to make the difference at the end of the day. And since they have announced, well, I don't know how true it is because I can't find the blue post, but it is announced that they're going to have the cap also at 4,000 next week. So it will be 4,000 this week, and next week it will be augmented to 8,000. So if you haven't done any arenas or whatever, you can do 8,000 in like just one sit through. You can do that pretty much if you want to, and you can directly buy your weapon, which is a huge upgrade and will make the games way faster. And obviously, if you are like ungeared, it's going to be very miserable. It is what it is. Like again, that's something I really like about World of Warcraft. And I already, like always said that, like whenever I was watching PvP montage videos, I was not wondering like, oh dear, he has more gear than the other guy, that's why he gets one-shotted. No, I was like looking at the numbers that Swifty did on his warrior, and I was like, oh, I'm actually impressed. Or whenever I was watching Drake Dog playing, or Verdno, or whatever, like I was looking at numbers, not really looking at how people were playing versus him, nor the gear that they had. And that's something that I already like always loved about World of Warcraft, is like how the numbers are popping whenever you are like very geared, and how you can destroy people that haven't done any of their time on their gear, like on their character. And yes, it is like a bit of a noob thing to stomp people that don't know how to play or are not geared. That's something like a superiority complex that you can have in the game, but it's still a game. And I feel like if you put time and effort into the game, which is not that much in Miss Panaya, like let's be real, once you have like the conquest and you're grinding, you just wait for conquest every week to get gear. So it's not like, if you really just want to have gear, it just is like capped. So at one point you can just like hop off and play something else or do something else, right? But I like the fact that my character gets stronger, and the difference between someone that is like haven't done any of the gearing compared to me having the gear is something that is very satisfying. Like you can be satisfied from that. Being able to do like double chaos bolt into conflag into shadow burn as a destruction warlock, like literally destroying someone or 2 guys in like at the same time, is super fun. And I know that it's not like the most skillful thing to do, but I find like doing a 1v3 still being skillful, even though if you one-shotted someone and the other guy has a bit of gear and he doesn't get one-shotted, I still feel like that's like somewhat of a good feel, even though it's not like the most skillful thing. I do believe like being able to space yourself between the characters and not like dying yourself is a skill at its own. And I would say in arenas, that's where the skill is the highest, obviously. If you want to like compare yourself with someone and you want to be competitive, you want to step into the arena in 2v2 or 3v3, I would say even 5v5. Or if you are like a BG like maniac and you want to like prove yourself versus the best, obviously you're going to do RBGs. That's something like, again, like I think the combination of everything just makes it very cool to play Miss Pandaria. Now, that doesn't make me hate Classic for sure. Like I think Classic is still the best MMO of the, if you're comparing with Miss Pandaria. It is still a social thing. I think it's because it is Classic 2019 that has evaluated till that point. The evolution of that server still is like something social, and I think that's still great. I still think like the classic, like they just miss like one thing, which is just a plus after classic, right? I think itself classic is like a fantastic game, but if you wanted to make it like a legendary thing, like a thing that you would play it day in and day out, even if it's next, even if it's like phase 6, you want to know what's beyond of it, right? You want to be able to have like PvP being like competitive and not really like an AFK fest. You want to have like some bragging rights, some me versus you kind of thing. And yes, casual things can still exist, and I think I'm fine with that again. Like I think having BGs being important is still going to be something I would like to have, because you need to grind honor. Well, where is the place you need to grind honor? Well, it is in BGs. You cannot really do that in arenas. Something that retail really has lost. If you want to grind your gear, like as a whole, the best to do is to play arenas, because you get honor and conquest. BGs are like left behind there. Like casually, you're going to get like 10-minute queues minimum, and sometimes even more, just to enter a random BG. Because nobody really plays that except the super casuals that don't know that they could just like launch arenas and get more honor per hour very easily, even if you lose everything. I think Miss Pandaria is like the sweet spot for me. Now, is it going to be like a thing that is going to be played over and over? It's going to be infinite? No, obviously it's not, because I do believe, and I still said that on the previous video, it is a game that you should cherish right now because it will not come back. Or likely not to come back within like 5 years. I think 5 years would be the minimum where the anniversary servers does progress to Miss Pandaria. But that's like a fever dream. It could also stop at RAF, and they could say, look, right now we do just have a RAF era, we have a TBC era, and we get Classic Plus now. That could very well happen. Although the numbers on Miss Pandaria are looking good, I'm waiting for the raids to happen to see the real numbers on raids, and I wait to see the ladder and how percentile-wise, how far you need to go to get Glad and rank 1, to see how populated the ladder is as well. I think right now, if I just go to the capital of Pandaria for Alliance, you have also for Horde, but that's Firema, so you will not see anyone there, most likely. But there are like a lot of people, and sometimes a lag here. And every evening you have a queue, every evening on Firema. And obviously Firema and Gehennas are like mega servers. Those two are getting queues. The same for NA, most likely, I think. I don't know how it works in NA, like the servers. We have 2 mega servers, which are like Firema and Gehennas, and then you have obviously the mega servers from the regional servers, which because we have French servers, we have the German servers, I believe, we have also Russian servers. So obviously, that also comes into in play. It's not like one big server, like for example Spine Shutter is for Classic Anniversary EU, right? I truly believe there are more players on Miss Pandaria than in Classic, for example. People may contest that, but that's just, I think, a fact right now. You just need to connect on one of the servers, try to get into a BG, try to see how many people are like really online. I do believe like the total of like the MoP servers are like way bigger than like anything Classic, Anniversary and Era combined. Is it because Miss Pandaria coming out recently? Probably. Are the tourists going to be gone? Could be. Could also be that Project Epoch is going to like launch again, like finally, and people will leave. That could be, but I think people are playing Miss Pandaria are playing for a specific reason within Miss Pandaria. If it's to relive the raids, relive the dungeons, relive the challenge modes, doing the first time celestial dungeons, which again is something new for Mists of Pandaria. It never has existed in old Mists of Pandaria. So some people are like there for the PvP, which is me, for example, 2v2, 3v3, and 5v5, which again in a vacuum doesn't exist anywhere else than Mists of Pandaria Classic. I could do that in retail, but in retail it is dead. You don't get glad in 2s or in 5s, and it just is way more popular right now. Like, if I get a 2s partner right now, I can just queue up and like in an instant I get a queue, because right now people are playing, and most likely for the same reasons as me and maybe you. If you're like a raider, they might love the Mogushan Vaults or any other raid like Heart of Fear, Terrace of Endless Spring, and obviously you have the other raids that are coming, like for example Throne of Thunder and Siege of Orgrimmar. So yeah, I think you have lots to do. A lot of people are complaining about dailies, but remember, I think if a Classic Plus will come out, it will most likely have dailies, because it just makes you log in every single day. It is called a daily, and they want you to do that. In retail, you don't have that anymore, but like they're really pro players, should I say? I don't know if it's really the right word, because I think it's not really pro player. It's like pro laissez-faire, where the reality is they know that the players are going to be gone anyways, so they cannot really force you guys to play retail. So they're like removing the few dailies that they are. You still have dailies obviously, but it's like non-mandatory. You don't really have player power to it, while here you have a bit of player power because of reputation and the gear that are tied to reputation, which I am fine to grind if I was doing PvE. I think in TBC as well, I'm fine to do reputation once. It would be nice that it was like combinable to do through the whole account, for example, but that's another topic. But right now I'm very satisfied about Mists of Pandaria. I could talk hours about like the day of arenas I did, because I think it was fantastic. Like, I had a smile while playing. Even when I lost, I felt like, oh, that was deserved. Oh, I learned something new today. Oh, we misplayed that. Like, let's discuss about it. I think me running as minimal as add-ons as possible, just have as arena big debuffs. That's all. That's all for arenas. And that's enough. I can see clearly what's happening on my screen. While in retail, if I don't have like if I don't have more than that, like weak auras and whatnot, I would miss some things. And that's me, because I played since 2005. If I didn't play since 2005, I'm a new player, I would for sure need weak auras and whatnot to actually tell me what's happening on my screen. Which here, it doesn't feel like I'm playing a Excel sheet. I'm playing Mists of Pandaria, which happens to have some effects which are not that obnoxious as, for example, retail. So again, thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate you. Hopefully you are as excited as me to play Mists of Pandaria until like the end of it. Obviously, of course, there is TBC Anniversary going to come out. There is maybe Epoch coming out. There's maybe Classic Plus coming out at the end of the day. But I do believe like the reasons that you would play Mists of Pandaria are still staying, and are still very strong USPs that you would not find in the other versions. Again, for example, TBC, like not having conquest would really suck. I want that. Like, this is too good, because it means that my ults that are waiting, so I'm going to show you my ults that are waiting. Excuse me, because this is going to be long if I log out like this. Can I log out here? Yes. My ults that are waiting right now to be leveled, which is the Hunter, the DK, the Paladin, and then on my other account I have other stuff, which is the Warlock, which is level 90, but I also have a Rogue and a Shaman waiting to be level 90. They would suffer from it. They would, like, I would have a need to be level 90 right now and already grind arena points, because else I would lose just a straight week of arena points. That's something like I despised in TBC and RAF Classic, and they fixed it in Cataclysm, and I hope they fix it this time around in TBC Anniversary. If there is no conquest, like, I will be sorely disappointed. Like, they need to rework the gearing around that, and it's not like making it easier, it just makes it way more appealing for alts to be there, and the replayability is way more interesting than like the elitism that is tied towards arena points. Like, it's also not a rich get richer scheme. It is literally everyone gets the same cap. You get capped, you push rating, or you just go onto an alt and you push rating or get the cap as well on them. But you don't need to have it, because the cap is always going to be further and further. So next week it will be 8k. I can go from 0 to 8k the next week if I want to on my paladin if I was level 19. And that's something fantastic. I don't get behind, just basically because I decide to play on my main instead of my alts. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.